Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. This is Essential Patience and I am Patience. And in today's video, I am telling you the truth about earning an engineering degree from the mouth of an engineer. So if you want to hear it and more topics like this, remember to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and let's get straight into it. The truth about earning an engineering degree. Specific engineering degree that I got, which is electrical engineering, but this can relate to a lot of it, as well as many other degree fields. But I just want to put that out there that it may not be every specific niche of engineering. So if you're doing like biochemistry engineering, you may not relate to 100% of this, but I think overall it is general enough that anybody can benefit from it. So let's get straight into it. The first one is that it is challenging but not impossible. I think a lot of people get intimidated by engineering, and I was too, even when I was in there. If it's something that you really want to do, it's not impossible. Even in the thick of it, I always used to think there are a lot of electrical engineers out here. If they can do it, so can I. Engineering is not for everybody. Just like medicine is not for everybody, just like computer science is not for everybody, and that's okay. But if you think it's for you and you know that it's for you, know that it's going to be challenging. If it's not challenging, then you're not learning, because if you already know it, then how are you growing? Life is going to be challenging. Experiences that you have in engineering field are going to be challenging, and so each year you're going to be challenged with more and more topics, and it is good to be adaptable and open-minded and to learn the basics as a foundation to what you're going to experience once you get higher in your education. But if it's not challenging, then you're not learning. So make sure that you are open to it and you already know that it is to come. Embrace the challenge. That's the fun part of it. And do your best to understand what you're learning. The second thing is that you will not like all your classes for the most part. I mean, maybe there's somebody who liked every single one of their classes. But for me, some of my favorite classes were actually my coding classes, like C++. It made me almost want to minor in computer science. Didn't end up doing it, but it made me interested in taking Python as well. And I took Python. I love that class in computer science too. And it was just very interesting. I also liked some classes in digital systems. Also cybersecurity. You know, a lot of my software classes I actually loved. And I loved electronics. That was one of my favorite classes. And even the material scene, VLSI design, I liked it. Then also, there were some classes that I didn't so much like. Electromagnetics was one of them. It was very challenging for me, and the concepts were not the most interesting, but guess what? It's part of the coursework. And when it is especially embedded in like something like circuit theory, everybody has to take it. All electrical engineering majors have to take it. One of the basics of engineering is circuit theory. It's basically like a foundation of all the other topics like power and signal processing. So if you want to understand, you have to give the basics, and you're not going to enjoy every single class. Every class is not going to make you like, I am ready to learn. But you have to have that determination in yourself, because it's part of the learning process. You're not going to love everything. Just like if you go into your job, most people love some aspects of their job, but very few people love everything about it. Some people may be like, oh, I like my job, but not the paperwork. Or some people like, oh, I like it, but like I don't like the being out in the environment in the sun. So it's always embracing that part of, I like this, but I'm not too much into this. Even in electrical engineering, there's so many different things that you can do with it, that you just find out where you thrive and what part you really like, and then you pursue a career in that. So if you like cybersecurity aspect, you can go on and be a cybersecurity engineer. Coding aspect, you can be a software engineer. Or if you like electromagnetics, you can become an electromagnetic engineer. If you like circuit theory and a lot of the power dynamics, you can become a power engineer. So every class is not targeted towards everyone, but you can pick out of those, because the school doesn't know, oh, you don't like this, you like this. It's there so that everybody can find something they like. And it also helps benefit your learning. So make sure that you're open-minded to it, and you'll be surprised. I didn't know if I love electronics, because I didn't really love circuit theory, but electronics ended up being one of my favorite classes Who knew? The third thing is that it is time consuming, and not even just like the 4 years going to class part. Outside of class, it is time consuming. Learning and getting skills is time consuming. So if it's something that you really want to do, you have to go all in. If you're going into the college environment, you have to realize that you are there to learn, and you have to dedicate that time to learn. So don't have the idea that you're just gonna go to class, do the work, and that's it. Yeah, part of the process is doing the work, but you also want to make sure you're understanding, you're building skills, you're maintaining the skills that you build, and that's one of the things that really strive to still do. So you may not want to go strictly into coding, but you may want to maintain that skills just in case. So just making sure that you spend that time. If you're not spending enough time on your craft and the knowledge of it, you're going to lose it, and that's going to be hard when it's time to do technical interviews. A lot of times they will tell you that for a 3-credit class you have to do like 12 hours of studying outside as well per week. I don't know how realistic it is, and every class does not require just as much, but it is good to put in that time. If this is the time you're going to college, spend that time to learn. Put that time and focus in there. Engineering, for the most people, is not going to be one of those majors where you can just do it and get it. A lot of time you have to be intentional and to make sure that you're putting in that work. Which leads on to the next one, which is that teamwork is essential, and that's also in industry. A lot of times when you work in corporate America, when you're working in the industry, most engineers work as a group. Not one person is inventing everything. I know we see in the movies, a lot of time people are just working all on their own, building this big robot. But even building a phone, if you knew how many engineers it takes to build a phone for commercial use, it's thousands of engineers. It might even be millions when you think about the subcontractors and who they are sourcing out to. It's a lot of people. It's not just a one-person job. Academia, it's part of that. It's a teamwork. Like I said, you may not enjoy every class, and I had classes that I needed a lot of help from with my work, from my fellow students or from the professor, the TA, and there were some classes that I excelled in so much that I was helping other students with it. So it's a mixed bag. Group study sessions, so we used to have them all the time. Half the time we're like just getting to know each other, telling people stories, and having fun. None of them was productive meetings, but also there were times when we had very, very productive meetings, and it just deepens your understanding. But engineering has a lot to do with teamwork. Don't think you have to figure out everything 100% on your own. Most people don't. The next thing is that the finesse is real. This has to be for most majors, but sometimes you just gotta be doing what you gotta do to get through it, because there were semesters I was taking like 6-7 classes, and I'll be honest, there were times where it was so hard to just get through certain coursework, but you have to just try your absolute best. Like, you'll be up for this amount of hours just trying to get this in, but you have to do it. Sometimes you even have to like turn in work, you're not all the way finished, but you need to get that point. Being able to balance so many classes, like if you're taking 5 to 7 classes per semester, you have to be able to find a way to balance it out, like from back-to-back classes. If you don't learn to do that, it's gonna be hard. You're just gonna have to do what works for you. And so just knowing that it's not a cookie cutter way, find the way that fits you. So there were several times where it's like, okay, like how can I do this class and do this class, but then be able to still balance it, because so many things we do, especially during midterms, finals, being able to turn in projects on time, every time homework, that 11:59, just waiting for that time to like just making sure you turn it in before it. So it's a whole lot. You're just gonna have to come up with creative ways to get your way through it, because it's not gonna be a smooth sailing for everybody, but you try and do your best and hopefully it works out. Do your absolute best. I'll say that. Just do what you can. Put your best foot forward. Things will work out. Just know that everybody is going through some form of struggle with it. So as long as you do your best, you'll be fine. The next thing is that you don't have to memorize everything. Every time somebody's like, oh, like you learned engineering, right? What is this? Of course, sometimes I can say it, but it's like, it's not a memory test. Sometimes, of course, when it's time for testing and stuff, but learn concepts. Know how to be practical with the concepts, and that would really help you more than just learning definitions of things, especially when it's time to apply them or talk about them in internships. A lot of times you don't go into an interview and they're asking you, oh, what is Ohm's law? If it's a technical interview, they might give you a problem and ask you to apply it. A lot of technicals, they would give you something like walk us through problem solving. It's learning the concepts and using the skills that you build to solve those problems. But just to memorize the whole textbook, it's not needed. There's a reason why there's textbook. When you become an engineer, there are resources all the time that you point to. There are codes of conduct, ethics, books to help guide you. You get your first job. Those resources are online. Those resources are in books. Learn the skills, learn the concepts, and apply them. The next thing is to join organizations, so engineering organizations. And I'm a proud member of the National Society of Black Engineers, NSB, the Society of Women Engineers, SWE, the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, IEEE, and Engineers Without Borders. And I like these organizations because that's where you find a lot of other engineers for mentorship, internships. And so when you're in school especially and you don't know exactly what type of engineer you want to be, I mean, you can be like, okay, I want to be an electrical engineer, but what kind of electrical engineer? There's so many different fields that you can apply that to. This is where you can find mentors to help you. For example, with an electrical engineering degree, you can be an automotive engineer, you can do software engineering, electromagnetics, like I said, power engineer, a packaging engineer, you can do circuits. And in these organizations, you can help find mentors, projects. They do projects all the time. Really sharpen your skills, but also let you know, is this what I want to do? So seek these organizations, participate, find fellowship with other engineers. It is so much fun to like talk to other engineers who may not be doing exactly what you're doing, maybe a different type of engineering, but still finding common ground. And it's interesting overall. A lot of these also help with scholarships, fellowships, just research opportunities. Seek them out. And the next thing is not majoring in the minors. This is something that I heard in Engineering 101 and I would never forget it. When our professor told us, do not major in the minors. And at one point it was because they wouldn't let us minor in anything. But also it's about what is important to you. If you come there to do an engineering degree or even any degree, major in your major. Put that extra effort and everything in that major, in that time that you're being there. So at the end of 4 years, if you go to college, or some people do 5, you would end up achieving what you came there to achieve. Do not let part-time jobs, internships, extracurricular activities, friendships, social clubs, and partying take your attention away from the main thing. Now, I know I said, join organizations and do all these things, but there's a balance to it. The main thing is your coursework. Everything else is mostly there for later. You can do internships in the summer, all these organization things on your free time. But when that semester is over, the classes that you take, whatever grade you get is on your transcript. Even if you retake the class, that grade you originally got is still on your transcript. Know that that time is limited, so focus on what you have each semester. Now, I know people do part-time jobs. I worked part-time too when I was in college. I remember taking 7 classes and having a part-time job as a TA one time, or even doing an internship another time. But at the end of the day, I have to focus on my 7 classes, because if I succeeded as a TA or in my internship, but did not succeed in my classes, that was my scholarships being gone. That was me possibly risking being thrown out of the program, because after a certain amount of field classes, you can't continue. So that's something that I prioritize, making sure I kept super good grades. Make sure that your focus is where it needs to be. Do not be so distracted with all the little things, because at the end of the day, you're there for your major. And the last thing is that your success has a lot to do with you and learning to prioritize. So it goes back to the last point as well. Learning how to prioritize what you came there to do. Success looks different from everybody, but for most people, when you go to college, it's about finishing that degree, coming out. For me, it was coming out and graduating debt-free. The job offer. There's so many resources on this college campus that you have to seek out. A lot of time, opportunities will not just drop in your lap. People are not just gonna randomly come up and give you a scholarship just because you're walking down the street or because you're in this class. You have to seek opportunities out. You have to seek out internships. You can't just be dilly-dallying around, graduate, and expect a job offer. A lot of times, even when you get job offers, especially from my experience, you have to apply and then you get a job offer. I didn't get any random job offer from a company just because I had an engineering degree. Same with scholarships. I applied for scholarships, so many scholarships. I have a scholarship video here that will tell you more, so definitely check it out. But it's a lot about putting your best foot forward. It's about earning those grades. It's about seeking resources that would help you to better your grades, whether it's like the writing centers for your resume, ask a TA for help in your classes if you're struggling, going to tutoring. Your success depends a lot on you and the actions that you take. And if you want to graduate debt-free with a job offer, and that's what success looks like to you, you can definitely do it. And if you start practicing the steps now, by the time you get there, it will happen for you. But it's a journey. And in that journey, you will find successes. There, of course, will be setbacks, and that's okay. Everybody has them. But persevere and make sure that you reach the level of success that you are looking for yourself. So with that, I am bringing this video to an end. Thank you so much. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment section. What degree did you pursue in college, and what was the hardest parts about it? What are some things that we just don't know that we're like, oh my goodness, you know? So definitely leave that in the comment section. I'm very interested in reading them. So thank you so much. Again, ring the notification bell. Share this video to somebody you think it'll be helpful for. If you know somebody who wants to go into engineering, definitely share this video with them. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.